Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh, and welcome everybody to our podcast Petang-Petang Kacip Usim, talking about law again today. So today is a little bit more what I call more interesting. So today we will discuss a well-known defamation case in Malaysia. It is Humi Afilda binti Ali versus Ketua Setiausaha Parti Islam se-Malaysia PAS and others. So this case was justice by PS Gill, a very famous judge, and became controversial because the plaintiff was not named directly, yet she claimed her reputation was seriously damaged. Okay, before we go further, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Fidras Adib.
My name is Sofian.
My name is Naka Sarah Fakiha. And my name is Ciwan Shakira Auni.
Alright, so today we are going to talk about defamation cases. So move on to our first audience, Kaisara.
Okay, explain about the definition of defamation. According to the Cambridge Dictionary, it's the act of damaging someone's reputation by saying or writing things that are actually not true. Under the common law, defamation refers to the publication of a false statement which lowers a person's reputation and also the eyes of right-thinking members of society. Defamation is extremely serious because it can affect persons' mental health, career, and also social standing. Okay, this case is about the plaintiff named Umi Hafilda, and her job is independent consultant who became a public figure after her appearance as a key witness in case of PP versus Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim, a Deputy Prime Minister of Malaysia. And her daily court appearance were widely reported, making her easily recognizable by the public. And this case also involved 5 defendants, so many guys. Yes. Okay, the first defendant was PAS, a political party and the publisher of Harakah newspaper. And the other defendants included permit holder, editor-in-chief, printer, and also the author of an article, which is the subject matter in this case. And the article was published on 29 March 1999 under the title Malaysia Sweeps 10 Oscars. Okay, the plaintiff claimed that the article portrayed her as immoral, mentally unstable, and obsessed with the former Deputy Prime Minister.
The defendant said that she was obsessed.
Yeah.
Alright.
It's so rude. In this case, the defendant is so bad and rude, guys.
Yes.
Okay, the plaintiff also claimed that her reputation, dignity, good name, credibility was seriously affected. Okay, guys. What is the next facts in this case?
Alright, so one of the material facts that I know, because I also read this case as well, I found it interesting. So one of the interesting facts is the movie named Pop Dalil by Quentin Tarantino, isn't it?
Yeah.
Alright, so in this movie, based on what I know, based on what I understand, Carl Jeffrey, okay, and then
He became
good people. Oh, right. So she was a mother figure to him.
The second movie, the title of the movie is Green Card. The genre of the movie is a romantic comedy movie. It's about a story of a young Filipino man. He's a poor people, live in poor village and come to Malaysia to find a job. And then he married a naughty Malaysian prostitute. The woman actor played by Umi Salman Ali again, and at the end of the day, he divorced her wife because he finally found out his wife put a picture of Anwar Ibrahim under her pillow. And
Yes.
so bad. Okay. And unfortunately, he was offered a Malaysian identity card, and he not only gets a job, and also he elected as the chief minister in the Malaysia. So good for him.
Okay, next movie is Fatal Attraction. This movie about a mentally unbalanced woman who acted by Umi Thurman Ali.
Yes.
She is so obsessed with the Deputy Prime Minister, which is Anwar. He always looked at her phone of the Anwar photos, and she is so obsessed until she tried to feed a big frame canvas painting of Anwar Ibrahim picture into her small Christian Dior handbag. Also, her stepbrother Azwan also becomes psychotic and obsessed like her, Umi Turmani, with a local singer-songwriter.
So the film was also awarded the Oscar for Best Sound Recorded by SNG Chihuahua. So the first.
The title of a book entitled 50 Dalil Mengapa Anwar Tidak Boleh Jadi PM. So, more popularly refers to 50 Dalil book, the title of elegant film Pub Dalil bears a strong and close resemblance to the title of the book. Okay, so back the first point. The name Umi Turman Ali has a strong and close resemblance to Umi Hafidah Ali the painting. Okay, so how about the point?
The third point, one of the third point that I found from the judgment is the reference to Khalid Jeffrey.
Yes.
Alright, the Khalid Jeffrey would be understood by a reasonable person as referring to Khalid Jeffrey.
Yes.
So the Khaled Jeffrey is just a nickname for him.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So that's what I thought. The author of 50 Dalil, the plaintiff became a public figure due to his prominent involvement
Yes.
in the book under investigation and subsequent criminal trial. Criminal trial. Alright. So this means he also commit criminal?
Yeah, I think so.
We think so. We might know maybe, in which he testified as a prosecution witness and which received extensive media coverage. So
Yes.
makes his name much more better.
Yeah.
Alright. So,
Okay, the next material facts in this article, the plaintiff also have one brother named Azwan Ali, and in this article also had the name of Azwan, and the spell is Azone, Azwan in the article, and this has a strong and close resemblance to Azwan, her brother of the her plaintiff's brother. In the article, Azwan is referred to as the brother of Umi Turman Ali, indicating a clear reference to the plaintiff. Okay, the next one, the plaintiff's baby appearance as a witness in the case of Bibi versus Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim was photographed and broadcast on television, and her appearance and dress received prominent media attention. The article did mention the appearance of and style of dressing by Umi Turman Ali.
Following the above, the plaintiff is sometimes shown peeking to her mobile phone. The article does refer to this fact when referring to Turman Ali. She watched porno. She was looking at her phone of Anwar Ibrahim pictures. Okay, by the reason of the knowledge of the facts and measures stated above, the plaintiff is identified by a large number of readers of the articles in Harakah, but cannot be quantified as any whether referred to as Umi Turman Ali. As we know, Umi Turman Ali and Umi Hafidah is very similar, almost similar.
alright. So towards all of this information, so what is the court reasoning to this for this case actually?
Okay, actually there is a lot of court reasoning in this case. The first one is defamatory nature. Okay, the court held that the statements were capable of lowering the plaintiff's reputation in the eyes of reasonable members of society. And the second one, allegations involving immorality and improper conduct are inherently defamatory. And the third one, there was nothing humorous in calling someone a small-time hooker, even though it is a lovable matter in ridiculing one's personal life or ridiculing a person's disability. The article was an insult one's intelligence. So, what about the next court reasoning, Sophia?
The reference to the plaintiff was indirect reference actually. The court emphasized that the defamatory statement does not need the name of the plaintiff expressly. The test applied was whether a reasonable person who knew the plaintiff would understand the statement to refer to her. Based on the context surrounding circumstance and public knowledge, the court found that the statement clearly pointed Umi Hafidah, even though they used Umi Turman Ali in this case. Therefore, this was its indirect defamation.
Okay, so the next reason is publication, right? So the article was indeed published in Harakah, and Harakah at that particular time had a considerable circulation. Okay, so Harakah in 1999 had reached about non-members despite it permits the restrict the sale of Harakah to member only. So just for Harakah member only, not like
That's one, right? The last one is defense. The defendants failed to prove that the statements were true, so it is false. That they amounted to fair comment on the matter of public interest. So as a result, they unsuccessful.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, for the last final decision
Yes.
in the courts, okay, it's prevail to the plaintiff. Yes, guys.
Yes,
You
yes,
agree?
yes, agree.
Yes.
Yes,
The
yes.
plaintiff win the case, guys. Okay, what she get by the defamation from the defendants in this case? Okay, the first one, she get 100,000.
They got she got 100,000 ringgit in general damage against the first defendant.
And after that, she get 80% by interest of the judgment sum from the date of billing of the right until full release.
The last one is an injunction restraining the defendants, whether jointly or severally, and whether by themselves, their agent or servants or otherwise, from further publishing the said words or any similar words defamatory of the plaintiff, caused to the plaintiff. So the plaintiff actually.
For the legal principle applied, and we can take the principle applied from case Chin Chong.
I think there is nothing we can talk about, kan?
Yes.
We already complete everything.
Yes.
Every single aspect we already
Yes.
covered. So
Yes.
I think that's all
We
for us.
already detail the case.
Yeah,
more about the case.
detail.
Yes.
Alright, so
detail.
I'm tired as well today, so I don't want to do much. So say goodbye to the camera.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe,
Yes.
Alright,
Don't
so
forget to comment.
yes. Bye bye.
Bye.